A single claw taps on my scalp, a sensation like a magnetic coil being activated. Cathead sits on the bedside table, rubbing its small gingered cheeks against the angle-poised reading lamp. The effigy of the Grinch, the decapitated mummified outline of my son, stands against the back bedroom doors, left over from Christmas, backlit by the security lights of the railway station. "Wake up," says the cat. "We've got work to do." I get out of bed and open the doors to the garden. Cathead shivers, then, tail up, it walks outside, looking back at me, indicating that I am to follow. I pull on a t-shirt and jeans. Barefoot, I walk over cold stone and wet grass. Cathead vanishes into the bushes to perform ablutions. I wait on the bench under the mulberry tree. An enormous yellow moon has risen over the house, rhyming the spears of the security fence with a buttery light. Cathead approaches with high steps through the silver grass, leaps lightly up onto the bench and walks behind me, then climbs up the branches of the mulberry tree, pausing to claw at it, ears flat with concentration as it scratches out its sentence. This is a writing tree. All the neighbourhood cats have added their marks to its pages. "I've been up for hours," Cathead says. "You've been ignoring me." "Sleeping, not ignoring." "Well, now I've gone and eaten all of your friends." "The rats?" "No, the humans, the people you talk to, on that thing you have. The internet. Yes, that's it. I've eaten the internet again." In the living room, the router wires have been cut, the power chargers for the phones and laptops also, thin white wires like mouse tails, severed with a claw swipe. "Don't ignore me," says Cathead. "That's not part of our deal. Communication is vital." "What do you want from me?" 3 black cats with green eyes sit at crucial points in my territory. They're stopping me from making my rounds. I need to visit all my thinking places. Cathead leaps up to the back fence post. I hitch up the wooden panel between the concrete posts and crawl through a bramble ditch to the raised earth bank of the railway land. As a boy, I spent much of my free time playing in boggy strips of edgelands beside railway lines and motorway junctions. This overgrown section is about 20 metres wide but runs for a mile or so to the west, where it enters in a large vent and access hatch for the Eurotunnel line that runs deep under the terraced houses. Cathead, with its cautious, slow, quick tread, leads me to the corrugated roof of next door's shed, where, silhouetted in the yellow moonlight, sits a green-eyed cat. "Who does it belong to?" I ask. "Belong? Like, who is their owner? Is that how you see our relationship?" I stumble through winter-stunned brambles and plastic bags of weeds that I chucked over the fence a decade or so earlier. I should have put my shoes on. I throw a stone at the shed roof, hoping to startle the green-eyed cat. The stone rebounds noisily, but the green-eyed cat merely leans forwards to lick a paw. "We should try the other way," says Cathead. "That way is blocked by the metal security fence. I'll show you how to fit through the bars." There is a section where Cathead has dug out the soil beneath the fence, and though it looks only deep enough for a small ginger cat to crawl through, somehow I am able to fold my body through the space. The earth is cold on my lips. On my belly, I shuffle forward, expecting with every inch to feel the bars of the fence scrape against my back. "There," says Cathead. "You're not as big as you think you are." The quivering white tip at the end of its tail leads me crawling, cursing through the thorny overgrowth. The moon hums and glitches like a badly wired amplifier. We clamber through a bark of ivy to come within reach of the train platform. A black cat strolls along the platform, then stops opposite us. The magnetic field of the power line seems to be emanating from its green eyes. Shoot, I say. It is indifferent to my gesture. Cathead moans with frustration. Oh, you have to let me through. The green-eyed black cat does not respond. I'm getting cold and sore at being out so late. What is so important that we have to do this now? She wants to see you. Who? Cathead says. I speak with the dead. Am I dead? Don't be an idiot. If you were dead, you wouldn't get so much email. There is one thing that always scares away Cathead, the threat of being picked up, cuddled and taken indoors. Instead of threatening the green-eyed cat, I walk toward it with open arms, making comforting, trilling noises. Cats have a keen eye for insincerity. Affronted by my attempts at affection, the green-eyed cat walks steadily along the platform so that Cathead can cross its path. This way, says Cathead. We follow the platform westward for 100 yards or so. Who are we looking for? I ask. One of your dead has not passed on. She remains in between. It's easy for the dead to get lost. They need a mark to navigate by, a book of spells to help them on their way. Cathead turns back into the overgrowth. The brambles and bare branches form a tunnel entrance. The atmosphere is concentrated by the walls. I am afraid. The ancient Egyptians used the potency of their hieroglyphs, inscribed on tombs, to nourish and sustain the dead in the afterlife. Defiling the hieroglyphs of their names would remove their connection to the books of the dead. Denied access to that wisdom, the souls of the dead would wither and become dormant, like trees in winter. We pass through the tunnel and into the living room of my mother's house. In the days following her death, my mother was in my dreams. She was confused about what had happened to her. I would have to explain to her that she had died. No, she would say. I just went away. I'm better now. The sensations of her, the sound of her voice, the familiar sections of her back when we hugged were so real, I would wake bereft. She's very pale, as thin as she was when she died, with the wig she wore to cover hair loss and the new clothes my sister bought her because nothing in her old wardrobe fitted her anymore. Mum, I say. She won't look me in the eye. I've been away, she says, on a sewing course. She sighs, agitating her fingers, sore from arthritis. Something about this place is bothering her. I want to have the size of the living room reduced, she says. People don't visit much anymore. Oh, the sound of her voice again, the feeling of her in my arms.